Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Becki.
We are registered dietitians that believe in the power of food as medicine, and we use functional approaches to whole body health.
In today's video, we are going to be covering 5 ways to cope with keto flu. So this is a common complaint I think that we get from participants in our keto group or clients who are going keto for the first time especially. Let's unpack a little bit what causes keto flu and what exactly is it.
Sure. So when your body is fueling on glucose alone or blood sugar from carbohydrate intake, you are going to be susceptible to blood sugar highs of hyperglycemia and blood sugar lows like hypoglycemia. And your liver is used to responding to this variance of blood sugar when you aren't consuming food. Now, when you remove carbohydrates from your diet in a ketogenic diet, and your liver has to all of a sudden make an alternate energy source of ketones instead of glucose, there's a little bit of a recalibration period. In fact, the word carbohydrate has the word hydrate in it. And so when you first transition into a low carb diet, you're going to get a whooshing or a release of fluid in the body. And this can throw off electrolyte stability. There can also be an inability to convert that fuel or make the ketones. So common signs or symptoms of keto flu include dizziness and blood pressure changes. We can see tachycardia, rapid heart rate, or palpitations. We can see brain fog and fatigue. We can see headaches. We can see nausea and GI changes, either constipation or loose stool from those electrolyte changes. And although it seems unpleasant, there are food as medicine solutions to help you cope with this electrolyte shift and the hydration shifts in your body, as well as support your liver's ability to make those ketones.
I think the simplest one to start off with is just making sure you're drinking enough water. So we want to ideally be aiming for about half of our body weight in fluid ounces of water per day. And you may actually require a little bit more when you first go keto, so upwards of 2, even 3 liters. When you're depleting that glycogen, you're kind of wringing out that fluid storage and you're seeing a decrease in water in your entire body. And water also can help with body fat burn via the process of lipolysis. So using a simple water infusion, like doing some cucumber or lemon slices in your water, that'll not only make the water more appealing, but it can actually help to increase the solute load in your water and make it feel more hydrating to your cells.
Yes, that brings that water better into your cells. And it's important to note that when we are rehydrating, that can even deplete our electrolytes further because we first lose those electrolytes from the flushing or loss of fluid. Glycogen is our storage of glucose in our liver and our muscles. So that gets depleted as well after the low carbohydrate transition in like the first day and a half or so. And so as you lose that fluid, you spill your electrolytes. And if you're just drinking plain water without any of these solutes, you can further create a low solute load or further depletion of your electrolytes. You've spilled, and now you're hydrating with something that doesn't have those electrolytes. So the next priority is going to be to get up your sodium intake. Salt is a really important consideration to combat the keto flu. Salt is going to be important because it's actually connected to insulin. So insulin is the hormone that is released in response to high carbohydrate intake. Your body releases insulin from the pancreas to get that glucose or blood sugar into your cells. So when you pull carbohydrates out of your diet, you reduce your demands of insulin, and one of insulin's roles beyond pulling that energy into your cells is to actually hold sodium and play back and forth with your kidneys in that fluid retention. So you lose that sodium based on the insulin reduction and also the water loss. We like to do a mineral salt, like a sea salt. This is going to have some additional electrolytes like potassium and magnesium and a bunch of trace minerals, which also support in addition to the salt. I generally recommend 2 teaspoons a day. You can start your day off with a generous pinch of salt and just lick that on your finger. You can add salt to all of your food throughout the day, and that's going to be one of the best pick-me-ups for the fatigue.
Yes, and I think it's worth noting that oftentimes when we shift from a more processed diet to a real food keto diet, we're not getting that salt or that sodium from those processed foods anymore. So you actually need to add more and more of it to your real food diet.
Most definitely.
And then potassium is an electrolyte that opposes sodium in the body, so they play a role in kind of balancing each other out. We can find potassium in our avocados, which is one of my favorite ways to get it, in guacamole or a little simple snack that we'll show you in a minute here, as well as bacon, which is a great kind of salty
Everyone
treat.
else's
Yes,
favorite?
yes.
Probably yours too.
Yeah. And potassium actually can play a role in muscle contraction. So if we're getting like those heart palpitations or muscle cramps, or if we're seeing blood pressure spikes and elevations, potassium can help to bring those down.
Most definitely. And another electrolyte and mineral to consider is magnesium. Now, we consider magnesium the ultimate chill pill. When we're under high stress, we tend to be depleted in magnesium, and it also works as an electrolyte in our body. If we're dealing with Charlie horses or muscle cramps in this conversion into ketosis, magnesium is probably the highlighted nutrient that you might be overlooking, because often electrolyte formulas don't have quality forms of magnesium. We look for magnesium in our leafy greens. In fact, we recommend all participants of our 12-week real food ketogenic program to have 2 to 3 cups of leafy greens every single day. So that's a great way to get that volumetrics, that fullness, even though you're taking in more dense, small bites of food, maybe not getting as much full as you would from your pastas and your carbohydrate-laden foods. Using leafy greens as the base of your bowls and dishes can give you that nice volume for satiety, but also a nice boost of magnesium. And then we see as a clinical tool our relax and regulate to be a really key source. Like I said, the cheapo forms of magnesium are really laxatives, so these can further cause distress in the GI, recalibration, causing loose stools, in an osmotic flushing in your colon. Magnesium bis-glycinate is the form that you would want to look for neuromuscular release. This is going to aid in the tension in the jaw or the neck and the shoulders. And magnesium bis-glycinate can actually cross the blood-brain barrier. It can tell the brain to stop stimulating cortisol from the adrenals. And this is important because your body goes through a little bit of a fight or flight response, and that also perpetuates the keto flu. So the relax and regulate actually tells the brain that it can mellow out and not stimulate those adrenals, which reduces body fat and also can help you to feel relaxed and calm.
Yes, and that's definitely one of our first line of defense recommendations when someone is dealing with the keto flu, especially some of the headaches and heart palpitations and muscle cramps.
Most definitely.
And bone broth is actually a really good way to combine all of those 3 electrolytes that we just talked about. So sipping on a mug of warmed salted bone broth at the end of your day, or if you're feeling a little bit electrolyte depleted, I think can be a great tool as well.
Yes, and at the end of the day, the bone broth also provides glycine, which can convert to GABA and give you that kind of chill out, mellow vibe, which can help with deep sleep, which is going to also help you get through the keto flu.
Yes.
All right, what's our 5th nutrient?
Yes, finally, carnitine is an amino acid that plays a huge role in ketone production. So actually taking the fat that you're intaking in the body and helping to transfer that into the mitochondria to use for fuel. So if you're getting that like sluggishness and fatigue when you first start keto, you might need a little bit of a carnitine pick-me-up. So something like red meat would be a really good whole food form of carnitine. And then our boost and burn is definitely what we would look to as preferable to some of the ketone esters and salts and the BHB, because it actually trains your body to manufacture and make ketones from your own body fat stores versus bringing them in from the outside.
Most definitely. We always want the body to do the work for the results versus giving it that end product. So the L-carnitine is our favored way to get those ketone levels up. And we've seen people that have been doing a keto diet for a couple years that get depleted in L-carnitine, and it's because of that demand of that oxidation of fat. I also want to call it electrolyte products because these are things that often people come to when they're dealing with keto transition or even daily to help them with the ketogenic diet. And these can be a good option. I always just recommend looking for a formula that is free of preservatives and does not have any colorants or non-caloric sweeteners. These are only going to mess with your insulin response and your sugar cravings. And in the beginning, it is a little bit of a breakup with addiction from the carbs. So I definitely recommend doing a really clean product. And I do like this one, the Light Balance.
Yes, we have a couple good electrolyte products linked on our Amazon store as well if you feel like you need that extra support. But I think we'd always say go to food first, right?
Absolutely. So this is one of our big tricks that we recommend in our program, and you would just half an avocado, so I just ran that knife along the end there. And then to de-seed the avocado, you're just going to put your knife in the middle of that pit and rotate it. All right, so we got that seed out, and mine had a little old part, so I'll just use my spoon to get the rest of that guy. So in your half of an avocado, which is providing us that potassium, we're just gonna add a little bit of lime juice. Get that seed off there. So I'm gonna half my lime and just break up the segments here and then just twist with my fork to release that vitamin C. Also, we get more potassium this way by adding the citrus. And then I recommend being liberal with your coarse salt on top. Remember, 2 teaspoons total a day. So we would take a nice big old pinch of coarse salt on top here and then topping it with some pepitas or pumpkin seeds. So this is something that you could eat in the middle of your work day. It's a great way to break those headaches, give you a nice boost of energy, and also balance off those electrolytes.
So these are just a couple of the tools that we go through with you guys in our virtual ketosis program, which we run live 3 times a year. It's Allie and I helping you to troubleshoot your real food keto over a 12-week course. We go really, really deep into unpacking some functional medicine elements, and coping with keto flu is just a tip of the iceberg of all of the information in that class.
Yeah, in fact, I think that's covered in the pre-class of the program because we go deep dive into microbiome and leaky gut and hormones and why your body might not be getting the results you're looking for. So definitely check that out in the link below. And also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel where we put out videos every Thursday to support you guys in your food as medicine journey. Ready? Keto flu. We talk about this every day. We can do it. Ready?
The timer.
Hair? Good? Got this? Oh, salmon.